So hi, we are here today in Prague and we're here with Faisal. Faisal, please introduce yourself to the crowd.
Sure. Hello everyone. Faisal Saeed Al Mutar, originally from Iraq and the founder of Ideas Beyond Borders.
So what is Ideas in Beyond Borders are doing? What are you doing?
So it's an organization that translates and makes banned and censored information available in the Middle East.
So can you name us some example what you already achieved in the last years?
Sure. So we have translated roughly by now 40 books and we have added about 22,000 articles, roughly about 50 million words into the Arabic internet. And in addition to that, we give people access VPNs and stuff like that, and education about them for them to circumvent censorship that exists in their own countries.
So can you name maybe some books, some famous books?
Our most downloaded one is Steven Pinker, Alive in Men Now. We also translated Jonas Stuart Mill, the graphic version. Our latest book is from Mustafa Akyol, which I'm probably familiar with, Reforming Muslim Minds. And then our gonna be next one is by Barry Weiss, How to Find Anti-Semitism.
So how hard is it to do that in the Middle East?
Very hard, mainly because of, especially where some of all of our team is actually based in the Middle East. And many of the challenges they face is that authoritarian regimes don't allow them to do that. So we have a very complicated system in which many of these people can continue to be working with us and not reveal their identities. We don't share many of their information online. However, many of these people, because they have lived under authoritarianism, they actually want to make change in their societies. Many of the younger people, like for example in Iraq, where I grew up in, they grew up under the socialists, they grew up under the ISIS. They want something else, and they're looking for something else. And that's where we have like roughly by now 4.8 million followers to our content in the Middle East, because people are looking for an alternative narrative.
So that's a great work, but like, isn't it dangerous for you? Like, you have been in Iraq recently. So
yeah, I mean,
how is Iraq today?
Well, Iraq is chaos, and we thrive in chaos. Is that in many countries where there is a very strong authoritarianism, the good thing is that our authoritarians are lazy. So sometimes they're not able to enforce things as much as they do in countries like Iran, which is our neighboring country, in which even Instagram, if you open it and then the government catches you, you might end up in jail. There are women who were dancing on TikTok and were revealed their identities and were ended up in jail. So the Middle East is not monolithic in terms of how much it enforces its authoritarianism. Our authoritarianism actually mostly comes from militias, not the state, because we are a country with very little rule of law, in which sometimes militias are the ones that take over. And in the time that I was visiting, they were busy fighting each other. So I'm very calculated in when I can come visit and when to leave. Because if you come at the wrong time in the wrong place, I'm not going to be here today to do this interview.
So how many death threats did you get in your life? Like, if I can ask.
I mean, fewer than some compared to other people.
Okay.
So I always start with a standard of the people who are still constantly facing the challenges. One of the people I met when I was in northern Iraq, his friend was killed because he published a book that was positive about Jewish people inside Iraq. And the militias that are affiliated with Iran did not like that, and they wanted to kill him. So he actually had to switch between Iraq and the northern part of Iraq, which is called the Kurdistan region, mainly for his safety. This is the case actually of a lot of people right now. I actually left Iraq when I was in 2009, after the death threats and after I almost get kidnapped many times. So I was like, okay, I'm done. That's not a good sign. And however, some people, the reason why, other than all the translations and all the things we do, we actually support many of those voices of freedom inside the region through one of our programs called the Innovation Hub, in which we give, so like if somebody wants to print a book that is banned or something like that, we actually give them support to do that. So really my story, even though it might sound very dramatic in actually most human sense, unfortunately it's the life of many. One of the translators we work with, the reason why he passed his deadline is because his house was bombed. And I was like, oh, I couldn't finish my work because my house was bombed. I'm like, oh, that's a good reason for missing a deadline. So this is like the people I work with on a day-to-day basis. They're all the way from Iraq all the way to Morocco.
So are there like special technologies you are using, because you mentioned VPN and stuff like that?
Yes. So we popularized, we became a leading organization because of our massive following and popularizing the use of these technologies. And also not only about how to circumvent the internet, but how to avoid being tracked. We popularized the use of things like Signal, and mobile coin, all forms of payments that are encrypted. We also like now we are a partner of an organization that creates mirrors of our website. So in that way, if our website gets banned in a certain country, a certain server, the people can still access our content even when, unfortunately, like for us, this is like a life and death situation. Like people, if they get caught or they get into these issues, not only they end up in jail, sometimes they just disappear, and you no longer hear anything from them. So for us, like the moment we started this organization, we're turning 5, like actually at the end of this month. Actually, we already turned 5. April 20th was our anniversary, but the party will be on May 6th. So I'm still confused on this one. However, is that when we set up this organization, it was set up with the mindset that we are going to be working in places in which this is a central issue of our time and our mission. So we set up all the right methods to make sure that our translators get paid in ways that don't get tracked, they can access the information, all of that stuff. So, and we just launched a campaign in which our videos, we produce videos in addition to that. And our videos get roughly between like 1 million to 2 million views on each video. And we're gonna do exactly that for the next couple of months, in which we constantly popularize the use of these tools. Because otherwise, we cannot even survive.
So, yeah, perfect. Thanks for all the information. You're doing a great job.
You're doing a great job too.
Thanks.
I'm
Thanks
so
for
happy
being here.
So happy we're friends.
Perfect.